red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O, cross up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O, cross up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O, cross up, bear down, red zone, let's go. C-H-I-C-A-G-O, cross up, bear down, red zone, let's go.
Bears fans, how are we feeling today? I know we're still on a down. 4 losses in a row will do that to you. And I today have been up and down. You guys know that I still haven't quit my full-time job. So sorry for the delay. I was supposed to start 25 minutes ago, and then I scheduled it for 4:30, my time, 6:30 your time. We're all over the place, but let's have a little fun. Let's enjoy this. Let's look into this preview because I really think a lot of people are looking at the fact that the Vikings are 8-2 and an automatic win against the Bears this week, but we match up really, really well against them. We really do. This is going to be a favorable matchup for us. But before that, I want to get into, I started a poll last night, and I want to see some of your guys' reaction to this because to me, this is interesting. So here's the poll. Let's pull it up here. Boom, add to stage, put it right there. Why is it not coming up? Sorry, guys. Amateur hour here. All right, here we go. As Bears fans, what would you most like to see the rest of 2024? And the options were 4-13, Caleb progresses, but high draft pick and a new head coach. And 10% of people said, yes, they would be okay with that. I don't want to see that. We just got our generational quarterback. We got to have him progress. The second one is what astounds me with this whole thing. 8-9, we don't make the playoffs, but Caleb improves. And so because of that, we get a new head coach. So I can understand that, but I never want the Bears to not win. And so option 3 is the one I thought everybody would go with. It was 10-7, make the playoffs. Caleb breaks out, but we retain Eberflus. And in my mind, if we make the playoffs, hey, we made the playoffs. Eberflus pulled something around. We got it going. Thomas Brown, whatever it might be. So this one's a little bit interesting to me. Fishing 702, Rob Hansen, some of you guys joining in. I appreciate you guys joining in. DeArnold Ziffel is coming to town. I haven't kept up on the Bears news. So in the side chat, if you guys know some breaking news that I haven't seen today, I was busy at work today. You guys let me know what's going on because I might be a little bit behind on what's going on. But let's get right into this episode. This is the Bears, the Vikings, this Sunday, noon Central Time. I think this is a huge one for the Bears. This is what's going to determine the rest of the season for us. This is going to be make or break. If we lose this game, I wouldn't be shocked one bit. Let me pause this real quick. I wouldn't be shocked one bit if Eberflus gets fired after this game. That would be like literally losing constantly against our division nonstop, like 0 wins against our division. And it's embarrassment at this point. We would be 4-7 headed to the Lions on Thanksgiving Day. And that would in itself be a guaranteed loss as well. So I'm hoping we can pull this one off. I think this is a must win. I think Thomas Brown can get us going. So let's look at the details of this game. As we know, it's a divisional matchup. Lions lead the division, lead the entire NFC. They're 9-1. Vikings right behind them at 8-2. Packers 7-3, and we're at 4-6. Man, that was a heartbreaker last week. But I don't think a lot of people realize that game. If you look right below the standings there, that game, the Vikings and the the Titans, that game was given to them by the refs. It was absolutely given to them. They had at least a 17-point swing by the bad calls, the unnecessary roughness penalty in the end zone. Should have been a touchdown. Those who didn't see it, go look at the highlights of that. In fact, if we just go to Twitter, let me stop sharing this and let me show you guys this real quick. Check out this from Twitter. I'm just going to type in Vikings ref and check out the reaction from that game. So right here, imagine a receiver sprinting straight into a cornerback, engaging with both hands, shoving him away while grabbing underneath his shoulder pad, and the ref throwing a flag on the defense. Absolutely wild how these Vikings receivers are being protected. Good luck to the Jets. Here's from the other day. People should lose their job or the screw job the refs are giving the Titans right now. I don't think I've ever seen a more one-sided officiating NFL game. And when I went back and looked at that game, I'm telling you guys, the illegal formation calls, the unnecessary roughnesses, the defensive pass interference, all these calls that were happening. I hope the Bears don't get the same treatment that the Titans did, because that's the play I'm talking about right there. Titans get unnecessary roughness here on what's clearly a clean hit on fourth down. Watch this one over again. The ball already touches him. You're allowed to hit the receiver. It wasn't helmet to helmet. Lays his shoulder into him. That clearly, oh man, but it's the Bears' luck. We always do get that type of treatment though, so it might be a rough day for us. We'll see. All right, let's get back to this. Okay, so if you look down there below, Matt Eberflus 1-3 against the Vikings, and top right there. Let's go back. Top right there. The Bears are wearing the throwback striped helmets, jerseys. In fact, I've got mine. One of my favorites. Don't crash, don't crumble. This is the throwback they'll be wearing for this Sunday, the 1936 throwback. So that'll be fun for us. I like those jerseys. I think they're actually cool. The helmet's cool. So it's gonna be fun to see. At least we'll be fashionable while we get our butts kicked, right? No, I really think we have a shot in this one. Let me get into it. Here's the rest of our schedule. You see those 4 glaring losses in a row right there. Oh, that kills me. 3 wins. We were feeling high. 4-2, feeling like we were on top of the world. And then we get into these games we should have won. Washington, Arizona, the Patriots, the Packers. Give me the puke. Give me the cheese emoji in the comments, guys. Rob, James, Fishing 702. You guys give me the puke and the cheese emoji, because we better win that last game right there. That last game, week 18, beginning of January, we better win that one. All right. So there's the rest of the schedule. Let's get into our matchup here. So here's the big news. The thing I was excited about, if you guys didn't see my previous videos, I posted 3 videos yesterday. I was kind of on a roll yesterday. We did sign Colin Johnson to the 53-man roster. Now, I hope, I read this, if I'm reading the tea leaves, I read this that Thomas Brown really liked him in the preseason, and Thomas Brown wasn't over all those decisions. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying Gerald Everett isn't working out, and Colin Johnson is really a big tight end type of body, but in his 2 tight end sets that he's been well known for in this offense that we're set up, the West Coast offense, those 2 tight end sets are very important. But Gerald Everett, his pass blocking, his route running, everything has been really atrocious this year. It's been bad. So you bring Colin Johnson in, who has sure hands. Yes, he's not as good a blocker, but if you're going to run 2 tight end route sets and you want that big body receiver that you can have Caleb throw it up to, just give him a lob pass and he's going to catch that and come down with it, I think you might see Colin Johnson in this game. Now, that doesn't happen a lot when you have guys get called up, that they come in, they're just a roster body, they're there for practice, they're there for everything else. But him being called up, if you remember the Hall of Fame game, 3 receptions, 56 yards, the big sideline reception, that's the one top left of your screen there. That's that big catch there. Sure hands. So I like the idea of Colin Johnson, 6'6", coming up for us, running those tight end sets with him in that formation instead of Gerald Everett. I can really see that being an approach here. And as we know, that first week with Thomas Brown went surprisingly well. I'll get to that in a second, but this is what the wide receiver room would look like this week. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, Tyler Scott. If anybody can tell me in the comments why we're not using Tyler Scott more, I really hope Thomas Brown at least gets him in for a couple plays, because he's literally non-existent. And we've got to figure out with some of these guys. My video the other day, if you guys saw that, Terrell Smith, I think he should be getting a spot start over Tyreek Stevenson to be able to see what we have for him the rest of the year. He's one of the highest graded defensive backs in the entire league. And here we are coming into the end of the season where we are, one more loss and we're really out of the playoff running. We've got to run the table at this point. We're almost like the Cowboys, just completely underperforming this year, really looking bad and out of the playoffs now. And we're almost in the same spot as them. So we got to win out from here. And I think that playing these players, Tyler Scott, that's important. DeAndre Carter, Colin Johnson, maybe Colin Johnson gets a few reps that maybe Keenan Allen would have normally got. We'll see. JC1, thanks for tuning in. I always appreciate you, man. All right, so here is what I was talking about with Shane Waldron and Thomas Brown. For those who haven't seen this was on Marquee Sports Network on the Bears Den. I thought this was really intriguing because it's not like this last game was against just a cakewalk team. This was against the Packers, who were a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense. So this last game, look at our yards per game. We were over 120 yards over our normal average. Our rushing yards, 70 yards over our normal average. Our passing yards, 50 yards over our normal average. And our third down percentage, 56.3% compared to 28.7 before. And I realize this is a one-game sample. So when you're looking at limited sample size, it's hard to even gauge that and see what it means. But when you're playing the Packers, who is a division rival, it's a tough game. The Packers are just as hyped up to play us as we are to play them. This is a big game, so it's not like they let off the gas for us. It was coming down to it came down to a blocked field goal at the end of the game, and we put up those numbers. If we can go the whole rest of the season with over 50% third down conversion, this team has a shot to really put up some offensive numbers. So I'm really impressed, intrigued, and I get it. Thomas Brown, his first game. Teams don't know what they're looking at on tape. They'll get tape to review from here on forward. So, maybe it's small sample size in the other direction as well. They didn't know what they were going to get from him, but I really think he can call up and scheme some things. And I think that's why Colin Johnson was brought in. So here's last week's injury report. Just take a look at that real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 guys on that, and a couple of them were held out of the game. Here's this week's as of yesterday. I wanted to show this one because it shows both teams. Up top there is the Vikings, and then down below is the Bears. And now Tevin Jenkins, just so you guys know, was a full participant today. DeAndre Swift was a limited participant today. Ryan Bates still held out with his concussion. Kieran Amagaji still held out. Elijah Hicks still held out. So a little bit of issue there, but the fact that Tevin was practicing full participant today is really good for me because, as we know, the best lineman we have, and without him, it's going to be a struggle for us constantly. So I'm glad he's back. We had a really good game this last game for the offensive line. They looked a lot better. I want to go into Matt Eberflus now, though. And again, guys, I try to keep this to 20, 30 minutes. So sorry if I'm cruising through this a little quick. And as I said, I had my other job, so we're trying to roll through this a little bit quick. Appreciate the comments on the side. We'll hit a couple of those in a minute. Appreciate the puke emoji, the cheese emoji. Rob, you're the man. I hate the Packers. I hate the Packers. All right, so let me move me off to the side. Guys, I said this last week in this video. In the Bears-Packers preview, I showed this exact slide. This is what I showed. Before the matchup, I showed Jordan Love, when blitzed, has an NFL passer rating of 59.1. Look at the bottom left there. Jordan Love versus the Bears. Guess how many times? On his 20 dropbacks, how many times did we blitz him? 3. 3 times. 3 times. That's criminal. When he's normally 36.9% of the time blitzed. And the Bears only did that, 15% of the time? When it's something that's guaranteed to work against a quarterback who doesn't know how to plant his feet, throws off his back foot, throws Hail Marys up, and we can't blitz him, this goes right along with the Washington Commanders game where we weren't defending the sideline, where we were letting them get the extra yards because Matt Eberflus said those ones didn't matter. To me, this is right up there in criminal negligence for the head coach. This is another check mark on my box to say, here's a reason that Matt Eberflus needs to go. And I've tried to be fair with Matt Eberflus. You guys know on this channel, I've tried to be fair more than most have been with Matt Eberflus. But when he can't even look at the stats that we can look up at home and see how much criminally worse Jordan Love is against the blitz, and they blitz him 15% of the time when it's his weakness, I don't know. This just gives me another check mark on my box. So it doesn't even matter what we look up at home, because if we can see it and they're not seeing it, it's rough. That could have changed the whole game. That play at the end of the game that went for 60 yards in the air, if you're putting pressure on him most of the game and he feels that pressure coming, he's not going to have the confidence to step back there and just huck one up like that. We wouldn't even be in the position we're in. Elijah Hicks and Kyler Gordon wouldn't be looking bad because it's all on them. The responsibility is all on them when we were getting zero pressure. So this, to me, is another black mark. It goes right along. This was from USA Today, ranking Matt Eberflus's worst avoidable Bears losses, including 2 back-breaking Hail Marys. Green Bay Packers blocked the field goal after Eberflus and Caleb Williams stopped playing offense. I mean, when they phrase it like that, it's a black mark, guys. So I'm already in the expectation, what I showed you earlier. All the fans want Eberflus gone more than they want us to make the playoffs. To me, that's pretty damning for your head coach. That's pretty rough for us to be in that position. Obviously, number one is the Hail Mary, the Fail Mary, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, James, I'm going to bring your comment up on screen. Flus picked Waldron, and he is slipping as a defensive play caller. If you guys haven't watched the last couple weeks, our defense, it's not the same. And our defensive stats are getting worse. And it's not just the level of competition we're playing. We're letting our zone defense isn't working. And I've talked about Tyreek Stevenson. Go watch my video from yesterday. He's got one of the worst separations in the league. So it's frustrating to watch these things. They need to mix it up. They've got to build some cohesion again. They've got to get back on it. And it almost feels like Flus can't handle being a head coach and being a defensive coordinator. So it's a little bit frustrating for me. And I agree with you, Rob. Eric Washington should start calling the plays. I think that's a great solution to it. Eric Washington has assistant head coaching responsibilities from when he was in the Buffalo Bills. I think he can take over he's the defensive coordinator now, but I think he should call all the plays. As we know, it's a mix between Eberflus and Eric Washington. So I'm with you on that one. I think he absolutely should. All right, so here's my keys to beating the Vikings. All right, number one, establish an offensive identity that revolves around getting the ball out quickly. You're going to see in a second when I show the stats, the Vikings' weakness is their secondary, is their pass defense. Caleb, if there's any game where Caleb needed to do the air raid attack, it's this game. Now, if you watched Matt Eberflus's press conferences, they talked about different things they can do, and he said, I don't want to give away the whole game plan. But he talked about how they can get the screen game going, they can get the quick flats going. But if they can get that offensive identity going, it's not going to be built around the run this week. And I know we're worried about DeAndre Swift being out. We did bring Darrington Evans in, who's familiar with our system, to the practice squad. I think you guys saw that on the earlier video. So we did. There's going to be options. Roshan Johnson alone, solid for us. I'm not worried about it. Roshan can carry the entire workload. It's not going to be on the ground that we beat the Vikings, though. They are the number one run defense in the NFL. It's going to be the air raid attack this week. Excuse me. My mic is cutting out. All right. Thanks for letting me know, Jeff. I'll have to see what's going on here. We got to upgrade. Baby. All right. So number two, getting things rolling early and stop depending on third and fourth down. Get Caleb's confidence by hitting early routes. DJ, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift. And then number two, win the turnover battle. The Vikings are one of the worst at giving up the turnovers, and the Bears are one of the best at creating turnovers. So generate that pressure, collapse the pocket, and I think we got a shot to win this game. Here's the Bears offensive line. Is that better, Jeff? Am I not just talking into it? I think we're good. I've got my assistant here. All right, I'm going to pause this for this question because I think this is a good one, JC1. So Adam Mason, if Flus goes, are you comfortable with Washington or Brown becoming the head coach? If not, we'll likely lose both of them with a new head coach. My answer to this, sorry guys. My answer to this is it's way too early to know long term. But if Flus is clearly the problem, which a lot of people are saying it here, Jigsaw, another reason to fire Flus, doesn't play to win or defense either. I agree. He's got to have the killer mentality, and he doesn't have that, and that's very frustrating. So it wouldn't kill us the rest of this season to have someone. I mean, both Thomas Brown and Eric Washington have experience as assistant coaches with championship pedigree teams. I wouldn't mind either one of them taking over if it's clear that Flus is the cancerous problem, if he continues to lose us games. My hope is that Flus learns from some of these experiences, learns from some of these losses, and is able to make game time decisions in the end, and we start seeing that. I mean, this is a hope. This is a Bears fan's life where we ride hoping things will change, but I hope he'll learn from these things and go into the next games with that killer mentality of not taking the pedal off the gas. Even if it's a field goal, keep running it, keep playing, keep pushing it down the field until the game is secured for sure. Kmet needs a big guy. I agree. All right, let's get back into the offensive line. You look this last week here at the bottom, 88.5. Really good against the Packers, a good Packers team. So it brings us up to 22nd this year, up to 83.5. Again, we need to keep improving, but the offensive line had a really good game this last game. I was very impressed with the offensive line. Here's we compare against the Vikings, though. All right. So the Bears offense against the Vikings defense. We are scoring the 22nd most points, which is good. 29th yards per game. So you can see our offense is near the bottom. The only thing we're doing really, really well is we're not turning the ball over, which is good. Caleb has only thrown 1 interception in the last 7 games. Excuse me again. So he's not turning the ball over. He's protecting the ball, which is good. We're winning the turnover battle. The Vikings, though, they're only allowing 17 points a game, which is 4th best in the NFL. The yards per game total, they're 10th. The running yards per game, they're best in the NFL at preventing the run, 74.4 running yards per game. But their passing yards per game, they're allowing the 28th most. This is where I'm saying this is the one where they need to get the air raid attack going. They have an opportunity to be able to push the ball down the field. And their defense is creating the most turnovers. So we're not giving up turnovers. They are creating turnovers. So you're going to see a battle in these two spots. In the yards per game, the passing yards per game, we aren't getting the ball out, but Caleb has the ability. He has the capability. So this is the game he needs to break out, have a 300-yard game, have 3 touchdowns, look really solid. They need to game plan accordingly, and it's going to come down to Thomas Brown in this game. And we need to prevent the turnovers. So that's huge. As we look to the Bears defense, I still have Jordan Love on there, guys. Sorry, I didn't take this off from last week, but the stats are correct. Just know the stats are right. Just look at that bottom part. Maybe I just want to throw it in Jordan Love's face that now he's thrown an interception in 8 straight games. Ha, 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 ha. Screw you, Jordan Love. All right, so our defense is really solid, though. We have the tied 7th for the most amount of turnovers. We're 17th, 17 of them, and we're tied 7th. And the Vikings are giving up a ton of turnovers. They're giving up 17. So a turnover in this game, multiple turnovers in this game, that should be turnovers, yum. That's funny, Stanley. We're going to be feasting on turnovers in this game. So it's important for us to get back to it because we haven't been getting the picks. We haven't been getting the peanut punches. And we need to get to it in this game. And that's why that's one of my keys to this game is to win the turnover battle. And then for the defense, the rest of their defense is very mediocre. We need to put up more points per or their offense is mediocre. Our defense needs to continue to prevent them and prevent the pass, which should be easy against Sam Darnold. So it shouldn't be an issue there. All right. Here's the odds. I'm getting near the end here. I'm going to hit some of your comments here at the end, but this is where the odds stand right now. We're 3.5 points underdog. I don't see it this way, but they're 58.2% chance to beat us. As you can see, I've got us before the season. Oh, here's the NFL guys. 7 out of the 10 picked the Vikings. 3 out of the 10 picked the Bears. And then here's where I had the circled part of the bottom. Before the season started, the Vegas odds on this individual game were 3. The Vikings have clearly overperformed where they were expected to perform. I had us beating them 42-9. I was a little optimistic. I was a little high on the Bears. I was a little high on it. Where do I stand now? I think we're going to beat them 24-17. This is what I really think. This is what I think. I think it'll be a close game. I think the Bears will pull away. The Vikings will probably score a late touchdown. We'll be up 24-10. The Vikings will score one in the 4th quarter, and then we'll just hold them off and run the ball out 24-17. That's my prediction for this game. So let me know what you guys think. I like this, James Horner. On offense, we need pre-snap motion just like last game. We also need a lot of those tight end motions, a lot of opportunities out in the flats where the tight end might release, where the defenders have already moved off. Hit Cole Kmet a lot and often. I really, really like that option. I think that's part of why Colin Johnson's coming in. I don't think it's just for X receiver. I think he might be in some of those 2 tight end sets. We'll see. We'll see if I'm right on that one. But let me know what you guys think about this one, about this game. Are we going to beat it? Are we going to win? I think it's critical for the rest of the season that we do win this game. So I'm going to go live for this one. I appreciate all you guys who want to tune in for it. It's going to be fun. This will be the optimistic broadcast. This will be the optimistic live play-by-play. So come join me. It'll be a lot of fun. I do have my the last video of my series will come out tomorrow of the predicting the upsets only with my buddy Brock. So that one will be out tomorrow. Appreciate all of you guys. Antmus, every one of you guys. Appreciate you. Give me a bear down. And until next time, go Bears and da Bears.